Thank you for joining me tonight. If we haven't met in person or haven't spoke to you before, my name is Dixie Heavener. I am Eastern's career counselor. I've been working for Eastern for going on 3 years now. I run a Title III grant, which is funding the career services through the United States Department of Education. So I've really enjoyed building relationships with the students at Eastern, and I hope to do the same with each of you. I am here to help you. So regardless of whether it be with interviewing skills, resume writing, I help with if you come on campus, I have workshops every month. I'm having a job fair on Tuesday, September 17th. That's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll have over 50 employers on site waiting to meet people and job seekers like you. So if you're interested, that is open to the general public. So please extend that invitation to your family and friends. Anyone that's seeking employment, you're welcome to attend. But we'll go ahead and get started in tonight's presentation on resume writing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Might take me just a minute. And like I said before, feel free to stop me if you have questions or comments at any point. I am recording the session, but that's simply so I can edit the video and hopefully share the Career Services webpage for other students that were unable to attend this evening. So hopefully everyone can see the slides. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So how many, I may ask questions, you don't have to pipe in, but if you have a resume that you've been working with and you already have one developed and you want it updated, I'm here to help with that. Or if you need to start clear from scratch, I've helped many students during my tenure at Eastern get their resume completely created. Please feel free to set up a personal appointment if you want to do so. So just right on. So let me move this out of the way. Your key takeaways tonight should be to identify a suitable resume format that works for you, how to write concise highlight reels or objective statements, and I'll explain that to you in a little bit here further, and to learn the facts and myths plus new tips to stand out from your competition when you're applying for those jobs. So most people use what we call an objective statement. And you may not have heard the term highlight reel before. So I'm going to break just for a moment to explain those two terms. An objective statement has been used a lot in resumes in the past. And an objective statement tells an employer what you would like from them. So some people say, for example, seeking full-time employment as a bookkeeper or an accountant for a financial firm. The new tips and the new trick is actually to use a highlight reel. And a highlight reel is succinct information about what you can provide for the employer. So it showcases your most significant achievements, skills, and experience. And the reason why you want a highlight reel, and this would be at the very top, the very first section of your resume, is because most recruiters only look at resumes for approximately 6 to 7 seconds. So it's very important that you put what you believe will stand out to that recruiter to have them select you as a person that they would like to interview. So you literally have, although you may put together this very impressive resume, you have about 6 to 7 seconds tops to catch their attention. And so you want to make it concise, you want to make it succinct, you want to highlight all those key skills and accomplishments that you've accomplished so far in your life and put that at the very top. It's like a summary statement. And in recent fact that I thought was interesting to share is recent college graduates can expect to have 12 to jobs in their lifetime. When I was applying for jobs in my career as a college graduate, it was the mindset of our generation that you would have a job and you'd be a long-termer, you'd stay in that position as long as you could, and you'd build that job stability. And that's just not the trend that we're seeing anymore. So it's okay it is really more so the trend to find your happiness and your fulfillment. And it's okay to switch jobs and build your experience at different employers. So if you're struggling to provide content on your resume, oops, let me go back there, sorry. I was trying to get this out of the way. And that's not working either. Okay, so I'm just going to focus here. I hope you can't see that menu bar that I'm seeing. But if you are struggling finding content to fill in your resume, for example, you worked as a nurse in a hospital at Grant Memorial Hospital, and you may be struggling with those bullet points that you want to include under your job title and your job information. I suggest that you use ONET. It's an online resource. It is one of the online resources that are highlighted on the Career Services webpage. This will tell you specific information about, first of all, the overall job objectives, what you would do as a registered nurse. But as you can see down below under occupation specific information, it literally gives you bullet points: record patients' medical information and vital signs, administer medications to patients, and monitor patients for reactions. You can use those bullet points. And I'm going to show another tool. It's called ChatGPT. This is a new AI generated robotic system that will help you rewrite those bullet points so that you can make them your own. So it helps you brainstorm the various tasks that you complete in whatever occupation that you may have had during a work stint. And you can use ONET to help you get that information to include on your resume. So that's a very key tool that I want you to make note of and please use. So some job seekers may not know that you want to submit your documents when you do an online application. You should use either Word or PDF. I strongly encourage that you submit as a PDF. This helps to prevent your resume from being distorted when you do that upload online. And it allows reader access because Google Docs requires access. It is widely used and accepted to either upload as a Word doc or PDF, but I do use PDF. It's just my personal preference. To dive a little bit deeper into that 6 to 7 review time of recruiters, you also have to get by the ATS, which is your applicant tracking systems. That's the robotics that are behind the online electronic submission process for applications. So use PDF, but also I'm going to teach you how to get past those ATS systems a little bit better as well. That's a little bit further in our slides. So when selecting your font, you want to use a normal font, and you want to have at least 10 to 12 point font size, and use a higher font size for your headlines or headers, so 14 to 16 for headers. Bold font and color are also effective when you go to format your headlines. Prevalent fonts that ensure reader access that I was speaking about earlier, not only for the robotics, but your human recruiters, are Arial, Verdana, Calibria, Lucinda Sans, Times New Roman, and Tributek. But as you can see to the side, those are what the fonts look like, and these are the ones that are highly encouraged. I always stick to Times New Roman. It's the classic. It's widely used. Garamond is another really good one, but those are the ones that are clear and visible and easy to read. So appearance does matter when you're building out your resume. You want to ensure that it's easy to read, your balance of text and white space. Use those headers and headlines that we were talking about. Make sure it's organized and clearly labeled. Those bold fonts on your headlines. Use those sparingly and specifically to headlines. Your bullet points are your job tasks. These are your call to attention for the reader, and it highlights your best achievements. You want to make sure those are well written, and they should start with an action verb. Action verbs are like managed, directed, led, prepared. You want to make sure each one of those bullet points starts with an action verb. And you want to make sure that you keep even margins. It's suggested between 0.5 to 1.25 inches on all sides. Space once after punctuation. Back in the day, it was 2 spaces after a period or at the end of a sentence. Now it's 1. Little things like that do matter. So which resume is best for you? There are 3 specific types of resumes that you can choose from. Chronological is the most used. Combination is going to be a mix of both chronological and functional focuses on skills rather than education. So just a little summary, chronological is very popular. It does focus on your work experience and it's listed in the order of most recent, and it's best for students or recommended for students. Functional will focus on your skills. It targets the job title of the job that you're applying for. It summarizes your qualifications supporting that job title, and it highlights your professional experience. This is best for career changers or individuals that have large employment gaps. So it's also not one of the most widely used resumes. We only see about 10% of job seekers that use this type of resume, and that's the functional. Combination is the new up and coming. It's the most popular. It is preferred by your hiring managers and recruiters, and it's kind of a mix of chronological and functional. So it includes your career summary. That would be that highlight reel at the top of your resume. It lists out skills and achievements, professional experience, and then you can also list out there's relevant experience and then just general experience as well that you can include. It highlights relevant skills while providing chronological work history. So you're going to list your most recent job first and then work backwards. It emphasizes what makes you the best fit for the job while still giving the employer the desired information. So 90%, there's that statistic of all modern resumes are a combination resume. It highlights the job seeker's qualifications, the work experience, and education. So you just can't go wrong with this. And it does give that hiring manager the best information first. And that's very important because there again, you have 6 to 7 seconds to wow your hiring recruiter. So I do see a lot of students that use downloaded resumes. And when I say a downloaded resume, that is a resume template that they've used from Indeed, for example, where you build out your job experience into that actual online form, and then it'll spit out a resume. It's a very generic resume. It doesn't show the employer that you can build that and create your resume your own. So you really want to take time, personalize your resume in a Word document, format it correctly. You're going to sell yourself short if you just download from a different from some kind of template builder for resumes. Don't buy one from Etsy. I've known students to also use purchase a resume template from Etsy. You don't need to go to that extra expense. Just avoid those. And if you need help, I'm here to help you. So if you don't have those Word document skills that you need to create your own resume, let me help you. This is pretty much so straightforward. Most people know not to lie on a resume, but you also need to find the glory in your story. So does anybody really know what that means? Finding the glory in your story is telling the employer interesting facts about you. For example, if you're on a team, say you led a team at your present employer and you led this major project for them, that's a moment in your career that you could tell a story. So maybe you led a sales team and you increased corporate sales 5%, or you led a team in a factory and taught the safety policies and procedures, and there was no accidents on the job for so many amounts of years or months. You need to think about what you do, kind of build your own story. There's a lot of accomplishments that we don't even recognize that we're doing on the daily for our employers. So just stop and think about important things that you've done. If you can put it in a statistical analysis where you can say that 5% in sales growth or 0 accidents in 6 months, something that you can put a number to, that's a good way to tell a story as well on your resume. So a myth that you may have heard is that you should keep your resume general and to increase your chance of getting a job. That is actually not true, that you want to target your resume for each job you apply for. I know it's time consuming to not only write a resume, but then to tailor it to each specific job posting that you want to apply for. It is brutal and it is time consuming, but it guarantees your spot and your way to get through that ATS tracking system, the robotics. So read the job description, find keywords and titles, job titles specifically, because those robotic tracking systems literally look for keywords in the job posting that also translate on your resume. So, for example, for an insurance company in sales, you want to make sure if the job posting says must do outreach to customers to increase sales of insurance, you want to make sure that you pull out some of those keywords that you've worked for insurance company, you've done sales, you've targeted customers, all that. Make sure that verbiage matches both the job posting and your resume. So you're going to have to, every time you go to apply for a job, step back, read the job posting, and pull out those keywords and build those into your resume as well. Once again, don't lie. If there's something in that job posting that you don't do, don't include it. And don't just copy and paste from the job posting. You need to rewrite in your own words how you've performed that specific job task. Okay, so this is basically what I was just telling you in that slide before. Make your resume to meet the employer's needs. What is that employer's pain points? If you've done your homework, maybe you've researched the company, maybe you know somebody that works for the company. There's probably something that they are struggling to meet or that your position would help them accomplish. So you want to match your skills, experience, education to meet those particular needs of the position or the company. What challenges does that employer face? How can you help them overcome those barriers? Who's their competition? How can you help them beat the competition? What hard skills are needed? Show them that you have those skills, and what soft skills, the essential skills, are needed for that position. If you don't know the difference between hard skills and soft skills, we are going to cover that in a few slides down the road. But your hard skills are more like your technical skills, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, heavy machine operator. Soft skills are your people skills. So you want to be able to show them, not just tell them. Once again, hiring managers, there's that 7-second statistic. So really make sure your bullet points are concise and targeted. Understand how your resume reads. So recruiters scan for those job titles. You want to make sure once again, you're clearly marking the sections, and the simple layouts are best. I use a very simple format for the resumes that I help students with, and I'll be glad to email that template to you. I hate to call it a template, but it shows you specifically how to make it a clean, clearly marked, simple layout. You want to include those bold job titles supported by the bullet list, which is what you do on the daily in the job that you've performed. And the time spent on the second page is dedicated to how compelling the first page is. So you may not even need a second page. If you can summarize your skills and experience in one page, that is best. So your resume is not a Wikipedia, it's a sales document. You're trying to market you and the skills that you bring to the table. So the employers want to see those accomplishments, those achievements, your results. Once again, if you can put it in a statistical measure, that's the best way of doing it. Resume writers don't want to read summaries or descriptions of job duties. They want to know what you do. So be succinct again. Only include relevant information. So you want to write with meaning and power. And this is tips for modernizing your resume to get noticed and get hired. And I did pull this source from the authors, as I noted there on that screen. But just be specific about what you've done, quantify your achievements. That's those statistical measures. You want to lead with those strong action verbs. I do have a document as well that lists a whole bunch of action verbs in different categories. I can send that document to you also through email to use to write your resume. Just let me know, drop your email in the chat. Use umbrella terms such as executive, P&L, operations, budget, and outsourcing. You want to write in the first person using the word I. So directed daily operations for Reynolds' highest volume manufacturing plant. 18 million annual volume, 189 employers, 2,000 square foot facility. So you can see how to build statistics into your bullet points. You want to eliminate fluff, is what I call it. But those are extra words that you don't need. Responsible for, duties include, achievements include, etc. And you want to add context to meaning. So instead of saying increased territory revenue by 26%, which is a solid statistic to me, but you can also build on it to more, and increased territory revenue 26, which is twice the company average. So the more that you can highlight what the company impact, what you're doing to impact the company and a statistical value, the better. Okay, so eliminate little words. I still have I struggle with this one, so I think personal preference, but they do suggest that you eliminate little words such as a, and, the, and by. Ditch details that don't matter. Use abbreviations, that's okay, and use common acronyms. Transfer dense paragraphs into short branding statements, for example, accounting and finance, professional, passion for international business. Trim the fat from company descriptions, and transfer dense job descriptions into one-line job scope summaries. You can enhance your resume with links, which will digitize your resume. So you can also build, if you want to take it even a step further, an electronic folio. And I can teach you how to do that if you want to set up an appointment with me. I do have a digit folio. I must admit it's not being kept accurate because I'm happy with my job at Eastern, but I can most certainly help you build one as well. This is a big one too. Grammar and spelling is extremely important. And sadly, one grammatical mistake could get you thrown out from your competition and you could be bounced by those robotics, the ATS. So make sure your resume is error-free, match verb tenses, and avoid the use of my and I. So have somebody else read your resume, whether it be me as the career counselor, a friend, a professor, your mom and dad, whomever. Just you read a document, you reread a document, and you need a fresh set of eyes because sometimes you can miss mistakes and you've read it several times, but someone else can pick right up on a grammatical error. So please have someone else review your resume before submitting. Okay, so a lot of people are stuck on one-page resumes. That is been the rumor that you should keep your resume to one page. That's not generally true. One page if you have limited work experience. So that's for new to employment, maybe fresh out of high school, college, and you have 5 years or less working experience. However, if you've worked 5 years or more, 2 pages is completely fine because you're going to have more extensive work experience. 3 pages is generally not recommended. That's unless you're applying for those C-suite level jobs like a CEO, a chief financial officer, a president, a principal, something like that. But you should be able to neatly package your resume into 1 to 2 pages. So going into the steps, step 1 is to gather and assemble information. This is especially key if you're coming in to work with me on a resume. You want to make sure you just jot down a quick list of the name and location of the employers or organizations where you've worked, including the date ranges, at least a general amount. I like to see at least month and year. You want to make sure you do not have to drill down to the actual day that you started a job, but the month and year. And your end date. So it's start date and end date. And if you're still working, it's the month, the year, and to present. Name of educational institution and locations, and the degrees and certifications that you've earned, the dates that you've achieved those certifications or degrees, and if there are licensure numbers or certification numbers, include that information as well. You can take that even a step further and make copies of those certifications and graduation documents, or even if you've received recognitions and special accomplishments, sometimes you'll get a certificate of recognition. Those are all things that can be great supporters of your resume. So include those as well. You want volunteer work. So if you haven't had any job experience or you have limited job experience, volunteer work is something great to also include on your resume. Honors, awards, and achievements are excellent to include. So leadership, sports, activities, and clubs, if you can get into any extracurricular activities, those are highly regarded as well. And like I said earlier, start and end dates for all of those should be listed with month and year. This is the clean and concise format that I typically use, and it is recommended and widely used by career counselors and different recruit or different resume writers that you may contract with. So you want to use your first name and last name, of course. It should be bold, large font, make it stand out. It could even be bigger than the example there. Avoid using parentheses for your phone number. And I do recommend that you have a professional voicemail message. So whatever number that you provide to potential employers, make sure you also record a professional greeting. So when that employer reaches out to you to schedule an appointment, an interview, that you have a professional greeting. Email addresses, make sure those are appropriate as well. I know we set up some goofy ones in our past as young students or high schoolers. I know one was like secretsquirrel@gmail.com was one of my friends, but I highly suggest that you create a special email account specifically, especially if you are adamant at this job search. So if right now you're between employment and your main goal is to get a new job, or you're just like full-time looking for a new position, set up a separate Gmail account specifically for that. Use your first name, last name, make it very specific. DixieHeavener@gmail.com. Mine is actually DixieMHeavener@gmail.com. That is specifically for when I'm applying to jobs. That is the only email I give them. And then I have my personal email for all the junk and coupons and everything else that we receive. But I highly suggest a resume dedicated solely for when you're applying to jobs. If you don't have a LinkedIn or you don't know what LinkedIn is, I do recommend that you build a LinkedIn profile. I can help you with that as well. LinkedIn is what I call the bigger brother to Facebook. Facebook's for fun, LinkedIn is for business. So LinkedIn is specifically built to network with employers and to build your marketability with employers. So I highly recommend that if you don't have one, that you do create one. I'll be glad to help you with that as well. And we may even have a workshop specific to building LinkedIn profiles later in the year. And I do offer professional headshots for free during that workshop. It will be in person. But if you want a personal appointment, just reach out to me and we'll set one up and we'll build your LinkedIn profile. You do not need to include your physical address on your resume. And however, if you live in the exact area where the job is, this could be a plus for that hiring manager. So at that point, I would suggest including just the city and state. Information to exclude from a resume. This is pretty straightforward too. No one should be asking you for your date of birth, your marital status, sexual orientation, gender, health, or the number of children you have. If an employer or potential employer is asking you and that's information, that should be a red flag. But you should never have to give out any personal information, nor should you include this information on your resume. So which goes first, work experience or education? In most cases, it is best for you to list your work experience above your education. However, you need to stop and think which is most relevant for the position that you're applying for. So if your education or the education that you're pursuing, that you don't have your degree in yet, but that you are working currently to receive that level of certification or education, you would want to list that first. For example, if you're working towards your Master's of Business Administration or your associates in business administration or management, and it's for a banking job, and your current position may be working for American Woodmark and as a cabinet maker. That's a situation where if you want to work for a bank, your business management degree would be more relevant to the position than your current employment. So it's just a judgment call for you on how you build your resume. And you can certainly move it around as you apply for different positions. If you're a recent college graduate and you have zero relevant work experience, it is of course best to put your education first. Pretty straightforward. So here we are again, the importance of a LinkedIn profile. So according to Resume Go, job seekers with a comprehensive LinkedIn profile have a 71% higher chance of getting a job interview. So those employers like to take a look at your LinkedIn profile, which will have a professional, hopefully a professional headshot. And then it lists all of your aspirations, your skills, and your work experience. It's just a really neat package to highlight what all you've accomplished in your professional careers. Handshake is something that is offered for free through the Title III grant as part of career services. And Handshake, it might be new. A lot of students that I've worked with haven't really heard of it until I tell them about it. Handshake is a free platform that you sign up for with your My Eastern login credential. And it has single sign-on. So whatever you use for your My Eastern portal will work for Handshake, and you can access it from your dashboard with the different tiles. You should scroll down and you should see Handshake and Focus to Career. Those are two software platforms that are free for you to use while you're a student at Eastern. And just in 2023, there were over 1.1 million unique jobs created on the platform with over 26.6 million applications. And I can tell you, when I started and I purchased Handshake for Eastern, there were 850,000 employers using it back in 2022. As of date, there are now 950,000 employers. So it grows very quickly as the years progress. So it's very important that you go ahead and claim your free Handshake account. If you have any issues and can't get it set up, just see me. I'll be glad to help you. But it's a job board similar to Indeed, but it's specific to college students and college graduates because the hiring managers that are on Handshake are headhunting you specifically. They want college students, they want college graduates. There are jobs both national and international, globally on Handshake. For example, a lot of I hate to say it, but I think all of the Fortune 500 companies, or at least a very high percentage of the Fortune 500 companies, are using Handshake to recruit and fill their positions. So you can get a full-time, part-time, internship, remote job, and you can network directly with hiring managers. That's the part of Handshake that I really like, because most of the time, if you're job searching and you visit a potential employer's website, for example, let's say you wanted a job at American Woodmark or maybe Northrop Grumman, you look at that website and you can't usually tap right into the hiring manager or the human resources director's name and email address. Through Handshake, you can. You can directly work with hiring managers. You can have a chat. You can join live job fairs. You can join hiring events. They have all kinds of virtual events and ways to connect with employers that is really neat. And like I said, it is free to you to use as a Eastern student, so please take advantage. So once again, we want to just go over the importance of that top of the resume. You want to make it count. So a lot of students or a lot of resume writers have their objective statement. I'm suggesting that you switch that around either to a summary of qualifications or that highlight reel, which is your professional highlights. So you want to wow the person screening your resume. It's the most valuable resume real estate. So that's where the reader spends the most time. They could read that one section and say, hey, she's perfect or he's perfect for the job. And that could get you that interview. Like I said, you have that 7 seconds to prove who you are and why you're the best candidate for the job. So make it count. You want to connect your narrative to the employer's needs. Be forward learning. This is the forward learning section of the resume. So what do you have to offer? Who do you want to be as a professional going forward? Another successful approach is to include that highlight reel with 3 bullet points. Those are those statistical summaries of what you've performed at a project as a student or what you've performed in one of your jobs related to the position that you're applying for. Here's an example of how to list your relevant work experience. The very top should be your job title. You want to give that time frame that you worked, so January 2023 to present, and the name of the company. When you list the name of the company, I encourage you to also list the city and state. And then you want to do a quick little brief summary. You can summarize in 2 to 3 sentences what you've done in that position, but then you want to make sure that you write those concise bullet points underneath. Start with a strong action verb, those measurable metrics, include a result if you can. And I provided an example again: increased efficiency by 38%, resulting in quicker service and happier customers. If you were promoted, if you have awards, if you solved the company challenge. Avoid phrases like team player or detail oriented. Instead, provide a brief example showing that you are a team player. So has anybody in the group heard of ChatGPT? Are we still hanging in there? ChatGPT is really great.
Yes, I do it with class.
Great, good to hear. You want to, if you don't have this app, I highly encourage that you do. This is the one that I use. This is the icon. This is what it looks like, and it's the free ChatGPT. I have not purchased the one that has a cost associated with it, but I
I am
love it.
seeing my screen like super big. Turn yourself up.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out where my screen is like on me, and I'm not seeing like the presentation again.
Oh, let me do a stop share and see if I can get you back in where you can see it.
Turn your audio.
Did that help?
I did. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. No, I can't get mine back. Hold on. Let me stop it again. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is what the icon looks like. It's extremely handy. You can use it for your classes. You can use it to rewrite your resume. If you have a general question that you don't know the answer to, it's so smart. And the more people that use it, the smarter it gets. It's kind of scary. So this is definitely the robots taking over, but it's okay. So talking about those job descriptions and the bullet points that are contained in those job postings, you can use ChatGPT to rewrite your bullet statement. So how I phrase it, I literally ask it, because you need to be specific that you're writing it for a resume. So I would say, please rewrite my resume bullet to be more outcome focused and less than 20 words. And then read what you have in your resume. Watch ChatGPT, it'll spit it out in a brand new resume bullet. It's so smart. And if you want more options, just say, please write 5 more versions of this resume bullet. Find something that works specific to you and even tweak it to your words. You want to be very careful, so don't just copy or sound like a robot, because I have had students do that as well. And when the human gets it, you may get past that ATS tracking system, the robotics. But when you get to an actual human hiring manager, you don't want to sound like a robot. So make sure that you do not use the tool, but tweak it and make it your own word as well. So don't just copy and paste. Review the bullet point and make it sound like what you would say. But it is very, very handy. Okay, your work experience section, include that position title, the name of the organization, city and state, start and end dates, month, year to month, year, or month, year to present. 1 to 3 sentences that summarize your job duties or what the organization does, what you've done for the organization. And I highly encourage no more than 5 bullet points that highlight the best of your accomplishments, your achievements, and the results that you've accomplished while you've been employed there. So I know we mentioned earlier, we'd talk about the soft skills. These are the top soft skills that employees are looking at. And I did pull this from the NACE, which is the National Association of Career counselors and employers from their career competencies. This is what employers are seeking. They want critical thinkers. They want employees that have strong oral and written communication, so you can speak and write well. They want teamwork and collaboration. So if you've led a team, like I talked about earlier, or you were part of a team that was highly productive and you met job goals, list that. That shows your collaboration and teamwork. If you're global, if you work for a global company or you're interculturally fluency, make sure you include that. If you're bilingual, that's great. Professionalism and work ethic. So make sure you use bullet points in your resume that highlight these skills and leadership. So don't just list these, try to set examples or show examples, write those examples on your resume. How you've led a team, or what your leadership skills, or if you have an organization that you lead. Top 5 skills for resumes. This is the hard skills, your Excel, Canva. A lot of people, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I love it. I use it all the time. It's those, it breaks down Adobe Illustrator. I can't use that. That's a horrible program, but Canva is pretty straightforward. It helps you do those creating creative content is what I call it. Language or international experience. People management, emphasize external teams manage, take initiatives to be the trainer for a team, lead a nonprofit or volunteer organization. So if you can be part of Rotary or Kiwanis or something like that, try to get some leadership experience through a nonprofit or volunteer if you don't have it at your work. And project management is up and coming. And this is sourced from Madeline Mann on LinkedIn. She's a great career counselor. If you just Google Madeline Mann on YouTube, she has a lot of great workshops and videos that you can watch as well. So another myth that we want to bust is you must include your references. You do not need to include your references. An employer will ask you for references when needed, but you want to make sure that you do have at least 3 references that you can easily provide if asked for. 3 professionals, not friends, not family, previous employers, current professors. Just you want to have their name, their email address, and their cell phone at a minimum. I always try to include where they are employed and their job title as well. So don't sound like everybody else. And when I say that, you don't need to fill white space. You do want to keep your resume to 1 to 2 pages. So don't just do a whole list of skills, ability to multitask, team player. Avoid those vague statements. Once again, I'm going to say it again. I've probably said it too many times. You want to make action-oriented bullet statements. So don't just list things out in small words like this. And this is a way to optimize your resume. So I highly recommend these as well. And JobScan is my favorite. You can use Resume Match, you can use JobScan, or you can use VMock. JobScan is free. Resume Match, I think, is free up to 5 scans or something like that. But what you can do, I'm most versed with JobScan. I know it provides you with 5 free before it'll want to charge you. What you do is you highlight and copy the job description from the online source, and then you highlight and copy your resume. You drop each of those in separately into JobScan. It scans the 2 documents and cross-references and compares. And this is where you're going to break through those applicant tracking system, the robotics behind your online application process. It tells you how many times you've met the keywords in a job posting. So there's literally a percentage that robots look for when they scan your job resume, or when they scan your resume to the job posting. It wants to see you reference a word in the job posting that so many times in your resume. JobScan will tell you if you met that requirement. It'll tell you if your job title matches the job posting title. And it gives you a whole bunch of different ways to correct your resume and get beyond the robotics. So before you submit an online application, I suggest you use one of these 3 free tools. Be leery and don't purchase them, but use the free scans to get past those robotics. JobScan's my favorite. This is an example of what it looks like for JobScan. So I just randomly picked a job posting. I dropped it in JobScan, matched it to a resume that I had. It told me I was a 60%, 68% match rate. It found 9 out of 10 ATS findings, my recruiting findings, skills match, format changes, and cover letter checks. Now, it won't go, there are some things that are only provided if you pay for the paid portion of JobScan, but it does give you enough, I think, to get in the free version to get beyond the robotics. So it'll tell me, as you can see below, it did suggest that I was missing 2 important high value skills on your resume. And it gives you the examples of those skills that I was missing. So it's saying customer experience appears on the job description 3 times and is not on your resume. So you're additionally missing 13 other hard and soft skills. And you can review the missing skills below. Very powerful tool. I encourage you to use this as well. It even goes into further skills and keywords, job title match, education match, and section headings and date formatting. So you can see the X means what I'm missing. The green check mark means what I've met. It's really handy. Okay, so this is just a little funny. So when your resume feels too short, you start adding random special skills. I can raise and lower my cholesterol at will. Anybody watch The Office? I love The Office. And Dwight's one of my favorite characters, so I just pulled this for a little bit of fun. But don't just try to fill white space on your resume with those general special skills or team player, detail-oriented, hard worker. Be specific. List it out. So when to see a career counselor? Anytime, now. Do you have employment gaps? Are you wanting to change careers? Your work experience may not align to the position that you're applying for. I'm here to help. So if you're unemployed and you're seeking employment, if you just aren't happy in your job, if you want to be prepared for when you graduate, I will help you all along the way. And the best time to start working with a career counselor is now. And you are the smart students that attended this workshop early in the year. So good job, and I hope you continue to work with me, and please don't hesitate to reach out when you need my help or you have any questions. So that is the conclusion of our slides. I will accept questions. I'm going to stop screen share. I know I have had the pleasure of working with one of our attendees on the resume already. Does anybody have any questions from the presentation that did you learn anything that you may not have known previously about job applications and resume writing, or is there anything that I could help you with further this evening?
I absolutely enjoyed watching about the different apps that are available.
Yeah.
So
Use those
as
tools.
far as right now, I'm a full-time employee and a part-time student, but I mean, just in case if I ever decide to change my job preferences, I mean, they're good tools to have.
Yes, you can't. It's really great to have those tools at your fingertips, and they're free. So I encourage you to use them. JobScan, like I said, will help you
Yeah.
get that past those robotics. ChatGPT will help you rewrite your bullet statements. If anybody wants the presentation or that list of action verbs.
Yes, can I please get this whole entire presentation?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
because yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be glad to send that out. I'm going to try to edit it. So, because I know at the beginning I had the recording way too soon. But I'll edit it. I'll send it out to you. I'll send the PowerPoint slides. I'll send you information on registering for Handshake. That's super easy. You should be able, when I say the experience cards, when you log into My Eastern, you should see little boxes and each one says like Bright Space and
Mm-hmm.
request help or something like that. There should be 2. There should be Handshake and Focus to Career. Those are 2 that are offered through Career Services. They're both free. I
Oh,
highly
okay, yeah.
you to sign in and use those. Focus to Career is more for undeclared majors. If you're unsure of the major that you selected with the courses that you're taking, you take 5 assessments. They're quizzes just about you, and it'll tell you maybe question is, do you like working with people? Are you good with math? Do you want to be inside? Do you want to be outside? And if you answer, I like working with people, I want to be in an office, I like working with numbers, it's probably going to generate and tell you, will you be great as an accountant or in business management? And this is the program that you should be in at Eastern, and this is what you'll make, and this is what your job title will be, and this is the outlook. So it's Focus to Career is very handy as well, but that's more for students that may not know, or there's major changes. They want to change. They don't like the classes they're in. Handshake is that job platform that very great tool. If you want to work for Apple in Silicon Valley, they're on there. If you want to work for the Maryland Department of Corrections, they're on there. And you can join all kinds of virtual job fairs and everything. So really great tools. Use those powerful things. Download ChatGPT. Yeah, I'm glad you all came tonight. I
Thank you
appreciate
for having us.
it. And there's more workshops to be held. If you check the Career Services website, all of the events are listed, and I'll be adding more. I have a couple additional additions to add to the lineup. And if you attend 4, you will receive a Career Ready Level 1 digital badge. That's a new way of credentialing. So instead of receiving a certificate that says um, you've finished this training courses, you get a digital badge, and that digital badge can be displayed on your resume. It can be added to your social media accounts, your LinkedIn, whatever account that you use. If you create an electronic folio, you can add it there, but it's really neat. It's the new way that we do micro credentialing, and it's issued through Credly. So try to attend 4 throughout the academic year, and you get a Career Level Ready 1 badge. If you come to the in-person workshops, I have Chick-fil-A lunch, but it's usually on Tuesdays from 12 to 1, and some students struggle making it to campus. But I did want to tell you about that as well. And thank you again for spending your evening with me.
Try to do some of them at 5:30 whenever we get off at the DHR.
Okay, I will do that. I will have to do that. And I think I've been talking about I want to send a survey out to students that helps me determine what your schedules look like, and what hours I should be having these workshops.
Yeah, mine's every other week. I work 8 to 4, and then the other following week, which will be like next week, would be my 9 to 5.
Okay. Because I was thinking about doing some 5:30, like especially I wanted to have a business etiquette luncheon where you learn how to have a lunch or a dinner with employers. So we'd have a
Yeah.
sit down dinner with some of the area business partners that we have, and you'd learn how to maybe have an interview during a dinner, or how to just communicate or network with employers. But yeah, I'm trying to, so I'm look for a survey, help me figure out what works for you so I can meet your needs. But
Yeah,
like
it
I
would be
said,
great to meet you on a day that I'm working until 4. That way I can get up there and,
yeah, that would be good. Oh, and one more
for that.
thing, my door is always open. I usually work Fridays remote, but I am there usually from about 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 4, depends on what time. 8:30, 4:30. I'm kind of wacky with my mornings. But my door is always open, so don't hesitate to reach out. I am here to help in any way I can, with interviewing, with resume writing, with developing soft skills. I have a free Dress for Success clothing closet, so if you
Oh,
need
that's awesome.
business casual or business professional clothing, it's completely free. You shop privately, you take whatever you want. If you have friends, family, or anybody that needs anything, it's open. All my services are
Do you
free
hear that?
to students and the community. So just reach out. I'm here to help. And if I can't help you, I will find the resources that can. So
Awesome. Thank
thank
you.
you all. And I don't know if your professors offered extra credit, but some professors do. So I did jot
Mine
down.
did.
Okay, great. I will make sure your professors know that you've attended. I'll just send it out to the faculty email so everybody will know you attended, and they offer extra credit as well. So there's lots of perks for participating.
Well, it's awesome because I also learned some, different things and resources that you offer. So that's
Great,
awesome.
good. Well, thank you all. Is there any further questions, comments? All right. Enjoy your evening. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.